We are going to talk, Rob and I, about the trade deadline. We can ask Eddie about that as well. Rob G, kind of give us a summary of kind of what went down. No huge names moved.
Rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. That's all that happened today.
Yeah, there was.
I wouldn't go that far, but I would just say no. We'll get into that more. But go ahead, Rob.
Well, relative to expectations, right? Because you had DeJounte Murray's been getting dangled out there like a carrot, right, for the last 2.5 weeks. You know, Kyle Kuzma's name was out there. Miles Bridges' name was out there. And as far as impact players, the biggest name that was probably dealt would have been P.J. Washington from the Hornets sent to Dallas in a move. But as far as the big storylines of the trade deadline, it was really a tale of two coasts. On one hand, the New York Knicks, who have been playing phenomenal basketball this season,
Yes.
pushed their chips into the middle of the table, picked up Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks from the Detroit Pistons. I don't even know why they have a team anymore. They just not only did they trade away their two,
they were like a minor league franchise.
Yeah, they're only
Farm
two veteran
system.
players, and then they released like 3 other guys, just cut them. But Knicks picked them up.
Did they release the guys that they got from the Knicks? You mean those guys?
No.
Oh.
They released Joe Harris and Killian Hayes, former
Yeah, that
lottery
was
pick.
surprising.
Wow.
He actually asked for a trade a few days ago, and they said, all right,
we got you, all
we're
right.
just going to go ahead and
Nobody
drop you off at the bus
wanted
stop.
you.
We'll
but
trade
good
you
luck
to
out there on the waiver wire.
We'll
Exactly.
trade you to the cement. Get out.
So the New York Knicks pushed all in. They were obviously the big winners of the day. They were a good team already, adding 2 impact players. Bogdanovic should probably start for them right off the bat, especially with OG Anunoby currently dealing with an elbow issue. And then on the flip side, the Los Angeles Lakers, who have been linked to a lot of players. You know, there was this report about, well, not even a report. LeBron James has the hourglass emoji. People were interpreting that as, hey, time's ticking. We got to make something happen, whether it's the coach, whether it's the roster. And they decided they're going to stand pat and wait to the offseason and hope that they can parlay 3 first-round picks, some swaps, and maybe an Austin Reeves into a superstar a la Donovan Mitchell. So one team active, the other team not.
Rob, let's start with the Knicks. As you said, they have been playing really, really well lately, especially since they got OG Anunoby, who will be out about 3-4 weeks. He just had elbow surgery. Should be able to. He'll resume basketball activities, I believe, in 3
Did
weeks.
they know about the injury when they made the trade?
I don't know. I don't even know. Did he have it? Because did he get
It wasn't
injured while he
reported.
was?
You know what I'm saying? Like
He
that-
may
I
have
don't
had
know.
it, but it was never
But
reported
you know
that
what
way.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would be like, that's a little bit of.
Well, it was a minor. I don't know. The deal, look, I
No, I'm
didn't
just
think
saying.
the deal was great when they made it.
Right.
I like OG. I thought in giving up R.J. Barrett, who was a 20-point scorer, and Emmanuel Quickly, I thought that was a lot and a pick, if I remember correctly. But it has turned out great for them. They won 12 of their first 14 when he was playing, and so he's been very good for them. And Rob, I think this was a good move too. Bogdanovic is a 20-point. He's a legitimate 20-point scorer. He's got decent size, 6'7", and he can shoot it. Now, do I think this makes them a championship team? No. But when I look at the East, Boston is there. Rob, there's no excuse for Boston not to win the East this year unless Milwaukee really gets it together and starts playing great. They're the only team talent-wise that is on the same level as the Celtics. And outside of Giannis and Lillard, I mean, Chris Middleton's kind of banged up. He just got hurt the other night. He's been banged. He kind of stays banged up, even if he's playing. So Boston should win the East. If Milwaukee doesn't get it together, Rob, if Joel Embiid doesn't come back this year, or even if he comes back but he's not the same, so I kind of move Philly out. I mean, the Knicks would be right there with it, like the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Heat. And I think the Heat are going to be a tough out. They're going to get it together. We've seen them now the last few years. They're just tough-minded. But I think it's Boston and then another group. I mean, Milwaukee's more talented than these other teams. But the Knicks are right there in that next batch with Cleveland and Miami. Again, they're building something nice. They don't have a superstar.
I just
Jalen's
wonder in
very
this
good.
NBA, Chris, can you really win long term or big time without that big piece you're talking about? And I know the Pistons won that was 20 years
Right,
ago.
but I don't even think we're talking about this. I think you're talking about NBA period, right?
Right.
Because
That's
they were the first team in
a long
20
time since
something
the
years.
70s.
25
and Chris,
years,
we
yeah.
talking about 20 years, like it's 2004 is 20 years ago.
2 teams since 1979.
Right.
That was
That's what I'm saying.
the Sonics in 79 and then the
Supersonics.
Pistons in 04.
2004.
I mean, yeah, even the some people might want to point to the Mavericks that beat the Heat, but Dirk was still a star.
Nah,
He wasn't out
Dirk
of his
was a
prime
star.
yet.
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
mean, but I'm saying he was a little older. He wasn't at his best that year, but he was still a star. You're sure right. He's a superstar.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd was older. Jason Terry was good, not a star. But yeah, Dirk was definitely a star. But go ahead.
Yeah,
You're right.
so I'm just saying, like, I mean, it's nice. The Knicks are winning. You got to feel good. I mean, I get the text from all my friends in New York who are Knicks fans who are finally like, oh, my God, I get to watch the Knicks and they're winning and I'm excited. But I don't, even with the moves, Chris, I don't know how much that really moves them any closer to where they're trying to get to. And I'm not knocking them for getting
No.
veteran players who could help them, you know what I mean, as they go forward, Chris, maybe to get to the second round or whatever. But do I think like, like they pushed in their chips and they're going to make a move and they're going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals? No, I don't feel that way because I still think the teams ahead of them, and you even mentioned it, even Miami, who's behind them, Chris, they got some cachet, they got some experience, they got some juice that you know that they can get it done because they have. They've been to the finals twice in 5 years, Chris, when nobody thought they were going.
Yeah, it's interesting, Rob. I mean, I think you would have to remember I said a month and a half ago or whatever, when we were talking about the Knicks for some reason. And I said, if they're going to win a title, the way it's looking, it will have to be the Detroit Pistons route in 2004, where you don't have that one superstar, but you've got like 4 or 5 really good players. And you put it together. And Tibbs does specialize in that. But here's the difference, Rob. Even though that Pistons team, none of those guys were superstars. I mean, Rasheed Wallace was a high lottery pick. Chauncey Billups was a high lottery pick. Rip Hamilton, if I remember correctly, Rip Hamilton was probably a low lottery pick. I'm going to look it up right now. But I think Rip was a low lottery pick. And so what that tells you, actually he was a seventh pick overall. So that tells you, even if they weren't superstars in the NBA, they were immensely talented players.
No doubt
Right?
about it. They weren't. They didn't live up to their billing, Chris, but they were at one time on the bill. Does
Absolutely.
that make sense?
No,
Right.
I think certainly Chauncey and Rasheed, when they were
Wallace,
drafted,
yes.
you were thinking they're going to be superstars.
Right.
And Chauncey obviously was a very slow starter in his career, but he obviously was great with the Pistons.
Hey, when you get
Rasheed
the nickname
was great.
Mr. Big Shot,
You know what
I mean?
He totally erased those early struggles. And Rasheed was very good in Portland on some great Portland teams. So my point is that was some big time talent. And I honestly, Rob, had those once Chauncey became a great player and Rasheed kind of showed it in Portland, had they been on teams that weren't as, didn't have a big four, so to speak, they could have averaged more points.
Oh, big time.
Right? Including Rip as well. And so this Knicks team, Rob, the difference is Jalen Brunson, I think, second round pick. Now, Randall was a lottery pick. But they don't have Anunoby. Like, these are guys that aren't ultra just naturally talented as those Pistons were. Now, you go back to that Seattle Sonics team, and that is a different NBA, but 1979, and that was a team where Dennis Johnson was a second-round pick. Gus Williams was a second-round pick.
Gus Williams, wow. Yeah.
Remember the Wizard? He was great. I mean, they were great. That was a great backcourt. But Jack Sikma was a top pick early, like number 8 pick. But
Jack,
still, that would probably be more like these Knicks. But I don't know. I agree with you. I mean, look, conference finals, could they get there? Heck, Atlanta was in the conference finals a few years ago. I mean, it's possible.
It is possible.
But I would be surprised. What I don't see, Rob, is this team getting to the finals.
Yeah, I'm with you. And we could be wrong, Chris. We could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if injuries break, I mean, not that they want injuries, but, if that happened, maybe. But
it could always be a pathway. Somebody shocks the Celtics, Chris. You know what I mean? Like, and then you have to face that team and you beat them. If somebody else just shocks one of the big boys, you could slide your way into the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah. But, they're building something. And Rob, if they do have assets, they've got some players, obviously. If they maybe bring in that star. We talked about Donovan Mitchell the other day with the Lakers and them wanting him. Well, Donovan Mitchell might want New York. He's from there. He's wanted to play there. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it ownership? Like the Knicks can't get, when free agents became available, Chris, people are like, no, don't want to go there, don't care about Madison Square Garden, don't care about any of that stuff. Even Kyrie and KD will go to Brooklyn. We came to New York, but we ain't going there. We ain't going to Madison Square. They could have easily said, we're going to go to Madison Square Garden. We'll play there.
Knicks thought they had him.
Yeah.
Knicks thought they had KD.
And they still went to Brooklyn. Yep. So I'm just saying, what do you think? Is it just ownership?
I don't think it's ownership.
So I honestly don't think it's ownership. What is it?
And not that Dolan's some tremendous owner. We know his issues and stuff, but I think Rob, and I've felt this way. And you are a New Yorker. You're born and raised in New York.
Right.
I'm from the Midwest essentially. When I got to New York to cover the Knicks, or I started off covering the Nets, but eventually covered the Knicks. Rob, I was astounded at how New Yorkers thought. How big they thought the Knicks were. And I felt like New Yorkers, including the media, felt like if a player had a chance to play for the Knicks, he's dying to play for the Knicks. And I was like, are you serious? Like, growing up in the Midwest, the Knicks were like the 12th team I thought of when it came to the NBA. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like, Houston, the Celtics, the Lakers, the Bulls, Detroit, Portland, like San Antonio. I could go on and on. There were so many teams that were better and just more relevant than the Knicks when I was growing up away from New York City. And it's played out that way, Rob. Like, guys I've said it. They're not the Yankees. They're not the Cowboys. They're not the Lakers. People don't grow up, unless you're maybe from New York City or, surrounding area. They don't grow up wanting to play for the Knicks. Would you agree? I just think that's it. And then the scrutiny's going to be crazy.
Bad for so long that you have a generation, Chris, maybe what?
Yeah.
2 generations. I want to say maybe 2 generations. So.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. So, look, if they can get a Donovan, and he is from New York, so maybe he did grow up wanting to play for the Knicks. That could, maybe that would be it. But, Rob, we've seen it's just played out, right? How many free agents do we have to see?
That's what I'm saying. Too many.
Turn down. Right. All right.